Hi. I have not been taking our relationship very seriously, have I? I apologize. I haven't called. I haven't written. You think I haven't been thinking about you probably. Well, that's not true. In fact, this is the fourth attempt at episode number 120. I can't tell you why I haven't been producing, creating, whatever this is. And at the same time, I have a few really sort of important-ish reasons why I haven't. But we'll talk about that later, maybe. My guest is my good friend Larry Dorf. I would consider him a super friend. A super friend. Isn't that like the League of Justice with the DC Comics realm? Only we don't use the word realm anymore. Now we say multiverse, right? That's the craze for the last 10 years. This obsession with the idea of a multiverse, from 10,002 Marvel comic movies that's been produced to the animated Spider-Verse to Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie. I hope you saw it. It's all a multiverse. Maybe this is why I don't do episodes anymore. I can't stay on topic. Larry Dorf, he's a super friend. That's how I digressed. Larry, if you remember, is a fancy person, a Hollywood writer, producer, and actor. He and my other super friends, who he's partnered with, have created Mike Tyson Mysteries for Cartoon Network and hit it pretty big with the Netflix show The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. It did really well. I loved it, and if you like a parody that's not in-your-face shticky like Scary Movie, not that that doesn't have its place, but this was more suspense and definitely more subtle, but very funny and well-acted and well-written, and yes, I'm biased. We recorded this episode in the first week of June 2023, and here it is mid-July, and I'm just now trying for my fourth time to publish it. The writer's strike had already been going for some time, and by the time this episode sees the light of day, the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, has joined the writers, and we may have to call Larry all over again. We talk about shows they are pitching or shows they were trying to pitch, and the general process of pitching a show and how that was put on hold well before the writer's strike even began. We briefly get off track talking about TV to fall asleep to. Yeah, that'll really put you on the edge of your earbuds, so you don't want to miss that. Another thing is, I did not spend as much time editing this episode down. Will that make a difference? Who knows? But if you notice a difference, please include it in all the virtual cards and letters that have been coming in by the thousands. I edited like the first 10 or 15 minutes and then said, stop being so precious. It's just the four of us listening to this anyway. Let's see what happens. We start our conversation by trying to get Larry comfortable, as I know he loves to spin around in office chairs. And then I have to set him straight on the difference between an office for a TV show or a movie, a production office, versus an office in the real world where you and I live. I've worked in both, and I can tell you, they ain't the same. Thank you for listening to the Modern Morons summer episode. Strike one, strike two, strike three, Hollywood's out.
I'm good. How do I sound?
You sound good. The closer you can get to that little mic, the better.
Okay.
But I know you need to kind of swing around. You like to spin in chairs, don't you?
I love that. I love kind of playing office in an office.
But have you ever in your life worked in an office?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What office did you work in? What type of?
I mean, like we've had offices. When writing, we've had offices.
That's not
a real office. I've never worked in like an IBM or anything like that.
Again. So other than the entertainment type production offices, you've never worked in a business office.
That's correct.
Okay. See, a business office, if you go in the break room, there's a coffee maker.
Yep.
And maybe some cream and sugar.
Mm.
When you go into a break room in a writer's office or a production office, what are some of the things you'll find?
I mean, a variety of snacks. Could be healthy snacks, non-healthy snacks, kind of whatever you want. You would tell someone to go buy that snack.
Yeah, you don't get that outside of the entertainment business. You go buy it yourself.
That's no way to live, if you ask me.
Do you see the altered reality that you live in?
Yeah, I do, but they're hard jobs to get.
You got that right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but well, I don't know.
Oh, I don't
The
got it.
writer's strike.
You got it right.
Is it pinching you?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, well, first of all, let's take care of the sound situation before we delve too deep. Is this good? Am I good? I'm pretty close to the mic.
Yeah, you're good.
Get closer if you want me to be closer.
You can try.
Jesus, I was hoping.
Whoa, I'm so sorry, Mr. Dorf. No, please. Oh
Let's
my
see.
God.
Here we go.
We are getting such a wonderful insight into the world of the entertainment business.
Here we go. How's this? This looks pretty. This is
That's
pretty good.
fantastic. That's fantastic.
Shit.
Why?
Okay. No shit. I mean, in a good way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mhm.
Why shit?
Shit, like we're cooking. We're cooking with
Yes,
gas.
we're cooking with gas. That's right. So the writer's strike, it's pinching you a little bit.
Yeah, here's the thing about the writer's strike also. The writer's strike, it's like, I don't know, a few weeks old.
More than a few weeks, actually.
Yeah. But I feel like the writer's strike's been going on for months because as soon as there was the threat of a writer's strike, it seemed like no one was, we were, because we have stuff we want to pitch. And it seems like everyone's saying no one's buying anything right now.
In preparation for the writer's strike.
Well, you have two things going on. You have, number one, a lot of these companies, and I'm speaking of streamers in particular, they all overbought in the pandemic. They all tried to follow the Netflix model of just buying a bunch of stuff. And then they got screwed as a result. They overdid it. Their stocks went down. They had too much, spending too much money. And then, so they're all trying to cut back, slashing budgets, people losing jobs. Then you have people like Warner Brothers who got bought by Discovery Channel. So that they had to cut $4 billion from their budget. More jobs lost. So you have that with a threat and now an actual writer's strike meant that for months, nothing's, at least in my experience, nothing's been happening.
Months before the official strike.
Yes. Yeah. Because they were trying to save money anyway. And then it's like, oh, shit, we're going to be going on strike, which to be honest, I think the studios, all these, the producers and studios, I think they kind of like the strike because I think it's an excuse to continue not buying things and reducing their budgets, which I think
and reducing perhaps their inventory of stuff that they overbought during the pandemic.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So they're just going to use up some of their inventory.
Yeah, but then you also have that's on the streamer side of it. But then you have like your CBSs of the world,
sometimes referred to as broadcast television.
Broadcast. Yep. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No worries.
I had something in my mouth that I had to get out. It was a seed. Okay, here we go. They operate on a different model. They have upfronts, and they want to have their, they're seasonal, so they have their fall lineup that they want to introduce new shows in the fall. So they'll be kind of screwed with that, and that'll start costing them money with advertisers.
Have you ever attended the upfronts in New York?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Can you, for both of my listeners, can you give your take on what the upfronts are? I have my take on it. What are the upfronts? A lot of people don't know that term.
The upfronts it's where the networks, they bring in their they want to show the advertisers what do we got? What are you going to be buying? It's, you want to buy space on this show, on these shows. So we're going to bring in our stars for maybe like a week, and we'll do maybe each network gets a day or something like that. But they'll it's just sort of like a big to do about, look at our great shows that we are going to have coming out, and then they want to sell advertising.
So best case scenario for, like, if you looked way back for old folks like us, must see TV or what was it, Thursdays? Was that the big day? Like when
Mhm.
NBC had Seinfeld or they had Cheers, they would have all the stars from Cheers, all the stars from Seinfeld,
Right.
uh, introduced onto the stage by the Eisner or whoever the network executive is, right?
Mhm.
And there
Yeah.
would be a number of cocktail parties and meet and greets
That's
where
what it seems like. Yeah.
the stars kind of do a little handshaking and try to schmooze. It's a big schmooze fest to get buyers to buy early.
Now I'm saying I think that's correct. I've also never been invited to one of these things. So you're
Oh, well, the
you're
times
yeah,
that I've gone, Larry,
you're
let me
you're
tell
you're scraping the bottom of the barrel with your guests to give full insight on how these big schmooze parties work. 'Cause I've never been.
that's how it was explained to me.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
That model's not as prominent anymore with streaming services.
I don't know. I don't know if because I think streamers are starting to want to introduce tiered subscriptions
What does that mean?
where you could spend, I don't know what the prices are, but maybe I think HBO Max is now Max, and I think I think that's like $15 a month, but maybe you can get $7.99 a month if you have some ads on there.
Why do you not know what you pay for Netflix or Hulu?
Because I think Max might be tied into my Spectrum cable.
You have full cable.
No, I actually don't have cable, so maybe it's looped into my T-Mobile cell service.
Okay.
I have YouTube TV, which
You
I
have
like. I
YouTube TV.
enjoy it.
Okay, and you like it.
Yeah, I do like
Okay.
it. Yeah,
So you're piecing together things like most Americans in terms of what you stream.
right.
But do you get
Yeah,
everything?
I get everything that I watch. I mean, I do get all the network channels,
Mm-hmm.
but what do I watch? I watch, the only thing live that I watch is
Mm-hmm.
sports and
That's really cable's
news once
last.
in a while.
That's cable's last
Yeah,
stand. That's their only
right.
draw anymore.
Yeah, and then the rest of it is
And
streaming.
one other thing I'd
And
throw in to sort of
yeah.
bring us civilians into your world is where
Hmm.
a lot of people have just I gotta cut the cord somewhere.
Yeah,
As a person in the entertainment business, you write off your cable bill and any bills that you pay for any streaming service. That's a write off on your taxes, correct?
correct. It's all research, all
It is. You got to know
research.
what the competition is.
Yes, so yeah.
All the any magazines
That's
you subscribe to that could be research for a project you're working on. If I go to a movie, I get to write that off.
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
yeah. I get my Penthouse Forum letters. I get to write that
do,
off.
do they still have that?
Oh no,
Come on.
I don't know.
Wow,
I
that
don't
popped
know.
into your head and out of your mouth really quickly.
It did.
So you guys are not and have not been for probably 6 months pitched a show idea.
You know what we did? We pitched a show,
Can you say to who?
not to not to a buyer. We have a show idea that we pitched to right before the strike. Two studios. Now the studios, it was just we pitched it to these people because we've worked with them before.
Mm-hmm.
But now for your listeners, the way it works is the studio. You have a studio or what's called a producer pod, which is like let's say a producer pod would be like James Corden, right? He has a deal, or I guess he's not working anymore, but let's say when he was working, right? What was his show on NBC? So NBC pays him to have a production company to bring them ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has like a seasoned TV exec running it that would take pitches. Maybe they have a first look deal at NBC. If NBC says no,
They're like a boutique production house that's under the umbrella of a larger studio. Okay.
Right. So they what attaching a studio or like a Warner Brothers or Imagine
Mm-hmm.
TV, those are studios.
DreamWorks.
Yeah, what those do for the TV side, they can't buy something from you. They can. It's sort of it's a nice package attaching these other elements, because then you go to the buyers who are the Netflixes, the Apples, the CBSs, the TNTs. Those are the people that actually pay for it.
So in a way, you're partnering with them. They're kind of the executive producers in a way.
Right. We met with a couple of those, and then it seemed like everybody, and even they were saying, no one's buying anything right now. So then we paused all that.
You know what? Do they say that before the pitch or after the pitch?
They said it kind of before the pitch. I'll say they said it. I'm sure they said it to the agents who set up the meetings, but they said it to us in the small talk before we even told them what the idea was.
Do you ever get, and this has to be a risk of, you pitch an idea generally, or whatever, the elevator pitch as they call it maybe, and they say, we got something we're working on that's very similar to that already, even whether they do or not, and then they go steal the idea.
Yeah, I hear about that, but my question is, okay, they steal the idea. Who's gonna write the idea?
I would assume staff will write. They have people already under contract that could say, go write this.
Yeah, I think the stuff that we bring is, you got to have the tone figured out. And I think the tone is such an important part. And anybody can have an idea, is just an idea, but it's how what's the sensibility of it? If you're doing comedy, like, what's the type of comedy? And yeah, I guess they could rip off an idea, but it wouldn't have your unique really
artistic take on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be our show. It wouldn't be the thing that at least we thought made it special to bring it to them in the first place.
I didn't realize how important that's critical. Not just important, it's critical.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Because I could say, this is a show about, it's a lawyer show. It's like, well, that could be anything. Go ahead and rip that off. But it seems like it's about the characters and about what's a typical episode and where does the comedy come from and what's the point of view of the whole thing. So I guess they could rip it off, but because whenever I hear that, it's like, well, it seems like it's got to be such a generic idea or such a premise-based idea,
right?
That then I guess you could take it. I guess, yeah.
Well, I'd like to take that same notion of what I just said and apply it to, I don't know if you've been talking with your associates at all about the concern that artificial intelligence will replace writers in the writing room. Has that come up at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's freaked out, and probably rightly so, about artificial intelligence. We don't know what it is. We know what it is. We don't know what does it mean? The way I look at it, let me tell you my 30,000-foot view of the whole thing. So, we had, I related it to, the whole debt ceiling thing that we just, all those negotiations, right? A lot of people were upset on both sides, but I look at it as mostly like a lot of the environmentalists on the Democratic side were upset because Biden made a side deal with Joe Manchin, who's the senator from West Virginia, right? And in order to get his vote on this debt ceiling, he kind of said you can have natural gas pipelines in West Virginia, which the environmentalists don't like.
Okay.
And I get that. Great. It's bad for the environment. But but the other side of it is, well, you need this guy's vote because it's a closely divided Senate. You need his vote. And you could vilify Joe Manchin all you want. Oh, he's against the environment. But he comes from a state where it's coal miners, and if you get Joe Manchin out of there, who's next? It's going to be someone way worse for the environment, right? So I guess what he's trying, the West Virginia people they're coal miners, and people say, well, they're just trying to hold on. They should get new jobs. They're just holding on to the past, and those jobs are going away, and shame on them. for holding on to the past. And I think there's something similar with the writers' strike and this AI stuff, because like, how do I know AI won't be better at writing than the writers are?
That's job security.
Right. And like my kids, I have 2 kids, and they don't really watch TV unless we make it like a family date. I mean, right now we're watching Ted Lasso, but they could do without TV altogether. So, they're on YouTube all the time.
Right.
So, or TikTok, So it's like, is this generation suddenly going to embrace TV? Or am I like a coal miner and not seeing that TV's dying up and no one gives a shit about it, and I should be smart and try to find a new thing to do?
What would that be?
I have no idea. It's a scary thing, because I don't know what else I'm qualified for, but it's, I guess it's easy to say, oh, fuck those coal miners, when maybe we're the same. I'm a coal miner.
That's a great way to look at it. It's uncertain times.
Yeah, it definitely is uncertain time. And it's easy to vilify the producers and oh shit, they're just, but everyone's got someone to answer to. They got to answer to the stockholders, and they have to, I don't know, if I was a producer and it's like I could get something for cheaper and better. If I'm doing like a procedural show, one of these CSI type shows, maybe AI is just as good and way cheaper. I don't have any idea.
You guys do comedy, and what you were talking about earlier about the tone of the show, like what kind of specific tone, what angle are you taking? How can that intelligence, because that does take intelligence, how can that be artificially generated?
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot of the stuff that we like to do, and this comes from Groundlings, is taking something like the minutia of day-to-day life and making that a big deal. Making a small thing very important.
Right. Yeah. Out of context.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. It seems like such a human thing that, artificial intelligence.
I guess it's going to come down to, as artificial intelligence gets better and better.
Yeah.
You have to use it as a tool. Like, write me a 1,000 word pitch for a show about a UPS store and the family that runs it, and some of the characters that come in that are regulars and some that are not regulars, and make it have a little bit of the flavor of the old Barney Miller police show, where you have people coming and going and you have regulars, and you would have to work with the AI to generate and then regenerate, like take those 10 bullet points and make it 7 bullet points. Take this character that you've created for me and expand in this area and delete this part. You know what I mean? It would be like a writing partner almost, to use it as a tool.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we've had, me, Hugh, and Rachel have had situations where we've had other people write scripts for us. This doesn't happen all the time. We've had, sometimes it's great, but we've had other people write scripts for us that the idea was, well, it'll be sort of like a starting point, and then we can, change it, and at least we're not starting from scratch. It'll save us a ton of time.
You can put your signature on it.
Right. Like when we got behind with scripts.
Okay.
Probably back when we were writing on the Looney Tunes show.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found was rewriting actually took longer than just doing it ourselves and starting from scratch.
Oh, what was the Looney Tunes show, you guys?
What was the show?
What was it called?
It was just called the Looney Tunes show.
And it had the regular Looney Tunes characters, right?
The regular Looney Tunes characters, and then we sort of made it into a Bugs and Daffy lived in a house. It was less. It was more sitcom.
More sitcom, less slapstick.
Yes.
And do you know? That was a long time ago, correct?
It was like maybe 2007 to maybe 2000.
Because I remember getting to audition for that and completely screwing it up.
What would you audition for? What was the?
Oh, I remember Hugh trying to coach me beforehand, saying, "Look, they don't want you to sound exactly like Yosemite Sam or exactly like Bugs." He just really worked with me to try to help me do this, because he said, "I'll be there. We'll be there. You guys were all there, but there'll be a couple of network people. Just do this." And I came in and I did not do that. And it's to the point that Hugh actually walked into the booth. He goes, "Here, like this." And he got behind the mic and tried to like literally give me a line reading to try and save me.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Well, I think that at the end of the day, what the Yosemite Sam had to sound exactly like Yosemite Sam. And the reason Hugh was so excited to work with you is because you would have been able to make Yosemite, if you could have done it exactly like Yosemite Sam, which is impossible because they have these people that they sound exactly like, the original, these voiceover people that just, they're incredible in that they're able to kind of sound like anybody, but they don't have the same comedic sensibility as we do. So it would have been a pleasure to have you in there as Yosemite Sam, because you would have made it, without saying anything about the person that wound up doing Yosemite Sam, you would have made it much funnier.
Thank you. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And a producer or the execs that are there don't have that forethought. They just want to say, "Let's make it sound like Yosemite Sam. You will make it funny in the writing," as opposed to sometimes it's in how you read the line to evoke the humor.
Yeah, they have to kind of, because it's such an established character and people just have expectations. I think that would have been an uphill battle for anybody. Even if you would have gotten cast, it would have been hard for the person watching it to buy into, "Oh, this isn't Yosemite Sam." It's easy to just dismiss it.
Be better off with an original character.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think you did, right? Didn't you do something?
No, I don't think so.
Did you do anything on Mike Tyson Mysteries? Nothing?
Oh, yeah. You guys brought me in for 2 or 3. Love doing that. It was so fun. So the ideas that you want to pitch and can't, the last time I talked to you, one of them was animated and one of them was live action. What are you most excited about that you kind of can't do anything with right now because of the strike? Is it the live action one?
The live action one would be Writers Guild. The animated one we have is not Writers Guild, but it's just stuck at not Warner Animation, at what's now Max.
Oh, really?
It's just kind of been there.
It's animated and it's at Max.
Right.
Does HBO, I don't think of them as investing in original animation. Do they have any? That's kind of interesting in and of itself.
I don't know what they have. I know they have Velma but that's not original.
That's a spin-off of Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what else they have. I don't know. That's a great question.
And the target audience is adult animation, correct?
Right.
Right. That's interesting. I don't think of HBO as being very invested in that format. So you guys might be the first to do that. Of course, I don't know.
Or that's why it's been languishing for 3 years over there. Who knows?
But that's something you guys could move in on.
Because it's not Writers Guild?
Yeah. You could move forward with that?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Are you not supposed to? Are you supposed to be in solidarity? Are you,
I'm sure there's,
probably,
Do you watch many shows on HBO Max or Max?
I don't really watch many shows right now. Right now I'm just watching NBA playoffs and then sometimes at night, like to help me fall asleep, I'll watch documentaries like nature shows.
Okay. I watch Phineas and Ferb to do that.
Oh,
but documentaries, you know what was a great show to fall asleep to? How It's Made. Do you remember that show?
Yes. Yeah.
It's so
That's
mundane.
Great.
It's like there's always an assembly line.
Yeah. Yes.
Doing the repeated things. It's like watching sheep go over a fence.
Yep.
And that's a
great.
good show to fall asleep to. Wow, maybe that's a whole, maybe there could be a separate podcast, shows to fall asleep to.
Yeah. I could kind of fall asleep to anything, though.
Yeah.
Really.
But mainly
Yeah.
nature documentaries.
Nature documentaries, but I mean, I went and anytime if I'm in a theater, I fall asleep. I saw Hamilton, I fell asleep.
Really?
If it's a dark, I mean, this isn't like when I'm going to bed at night, but if it's a dark theater, a movie, I fall asleep. I don't know why.
Well, that's
I can't help.
Generally, you're yeah, you're getting old too. That's a sign of old age too, by the way.
Yeah, but that thing's been with me for a long time. I've had that.
That you just fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you get in trouble for that?
No.
You don't. Oh, good,
No.
good.
No.
Okay.
I'm my own man. You know
Of course. Which is completely untrue. I think of in your household, Sam wears the pants.
Well, it depends. It depends with what. It depends what we're doing.
Yeah, there are certain things that you'll put your foot down with.
No, you're probably right. Now that I think of that, I just need to do.
Now that I think about it for 4 seconds, no, I don't wear the pants.
Yeah.
Who does the cooking?
That's a great question. It's mostly her.
Okay.
But right now I'm still bleeding. Because before we started this podcast, I was making a marinade for a chicken dish that I'll be barbecuing tonight. And I needed lemons. And we have a lemon tree. But lemon trees, they really guard their lemons with spikes.
Yeah.
And I cut myself.
Oh, and you're still bleeding.
Still oozing a little bit.
Okay. All right. And so the chicken is marinating in a sort of a lemon.
It's some garlic. There's a little brown sugar, some balsamic. We'll see. It's a new
Is it
recipe.
a whole chicken or only chicken breast?
Chicken breast.
Okay. Bone in or boneless?
Boneless.
Boy, that's a tricky thing. Cooking boneless, skinless chicken breasts, grilling them, and not overcooking them, for me anyway.
I do. I'm great at it.
Really?
I'm yeah.
What is this? Were you always great at it, or is there a secret to that? Because I blow it all the time.
No, people say, "Oh, you gotta make. You need zones in your grill. You need a high side and a low side, and you don't need that. You need put it on medium, the whole thing. Do 4 minutes aside on medium with the lid closed. 4
minutes.
Boom. Yep.
And do you take an internal temperature of the meat, or you just like that's good enough?
That's it. That's good.
4.
You let it sit for a while. You're great.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm overdoing it, overthinking. Oh, I always overcook it every time.
Yeah.
And when you set it on medium, is there a temperature gauge? Do you know what temperature it is, or it just says medium?
My strategy, I make it 550 degrees, and someone told me, and I don't know if this is true or not, but 550 degrees kills all the stuff in the grill.
Gotcha.
And then I put it on medium, and then I have no idea then I let the temperature do what the temperature is going to do.
So you put the chicken on when the grill is 550, and then let it cool down to a medium?
No, because then I lift it up, right? I lift the what is that called? The lid. I think they call it.
Yes, and then it's called the lid.
Then I scrape off, from the previous meal, clean up a little bit.
Okay.
Then I spray some Pam on it, or olive oil spray, and then and then it's been open for a little bit, so it's not 550 anymore. And then I
put it right on there. Did you get grill marks?
Yeah, and then I get grill marks.
Wow, I'm gonna try that. You know what I've been doing lately, and this is no news to anybody that cooks, is if you need something quick, boneless, skinless chicken breast and a can of cream of mushroom soup, bam, you're set.
And what do you do? How do you cook it?
You can just bake it for about a half an hour, and make some rice, or you can make some pasta, noodles with it.
This is great.
And then you've got like a sauce or gravy if the kids are like, it's too dry.
Amazing.
Tips. Amazing. I think that might be a little overstatement. I would not classify this as amazing. Do you have any summer plans?
Do we have any summer plans? I have my oldest son, Charlie's having his bar mitzvah.
Ooh, really? Is he 14 or
Yeah.
15?
13.
13, and he's having his bar mitzvah. What's the theme?
right.
Is there a theme?
There is a theme. We're having it at Sam's brother has a house in Santa Barbara. Giant house.
Oh, really? Wow, that's some expensive real estate.
Yeah. And so we're having it there in the backyard, and there's a pool. He wanted a pool.
Okay.
Thing. He's wanted a pool party. His birthday's in March, but we're having it in July because he wanted it like a outdoor, kind of thing. So we're making it resort wear.
Resort wear is what everybody will wear. And how many kids is he inviting? And that's a bit of a drive for a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, it's sort of. I think people are upset about it.
Better be some good swag. Better be some good swag there.
Yeah, but also it's like we thought it would also be cheaper to have it. Oh, we're going to have it at someone else's house. And I think when you do that, then you got to rent tables and you got to bring everything in. So I think it wasn't cheaper.
Bar mitzvahs can be expensive.
It's all expensive. It's all a racket.
It is. I read a headline about parents are spending rich folks are spending upwards of like $70,000 on their kid's birthday. And I mean kids like 5, 6, 7 years old that have no clue. It's like, it's really not about the kid. It's more about outdoing the other parent.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Can I say that?
Oh, of course you can.
There you go.
So that's part of the summer is a bar mitzvah. My daughter had her bat mitzvah last year.
Right.
Any vacation plans? Or do you have to stay close because of the strike? And have you been picketing?
Have I been picketing?
Well, that's a pretty easy question.
Yes.
Why are you hesitating?
Yes.
You have been on a picket line.
Have been on a picket line.
Did you not want to say that because, oh God, I don't want people to know I'm picketing?
No. It's a great thing. Support.
I remember, when was the last writer's strike? Was it around 2006?
2000, I think 8.
I remember
7, 8.
picketing at that time at Paramount, and the hotshot picketing there was Bob Odenkirk.
Oh,
but this was way before Better Call Saul or anything that he was a writer. But everybody knew Bob Odenkirk, except for me.
Yeah, I didn't really know Bob Odenkirk. I'd met Bob Odenkirk before I knew really who he was. I never watched his
Mr. Show.
What was the show?
Mr. Show.
Mr. Show. I know that.
Yeah. I thought, did his wife represent you?
Yeah.
Does she still?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
No, we had we went our separate ways, as they say.
All right. So you have been on the picket line a time or two.
I have picked
any fancy sightings of?
No,
really,
no fancy sightings. Yeah, and I also didn't do the whole right. I don't think the writers, they write funny things on their picket signs. I don't know that goes over well.
What is?
I think
what's
they write funny things and they're smiling and they're out there. And it's great. It's great. This is part I probably shouldn't be saying on a podcast. Unpopular opinions. But I don't know. It seems like they're out there and they're posting pictures of themselves on their social media and they're smiling and just looks like they're having a good time. I don't know that it's getting the people riled up, in the middle of the country to everyone's got to support. Let's support the writers.
Do you think the people in Middle America could have some influence on this strike?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't.
Because I also saw a story where entertainers are coming out to entertain them while they're striking. like musicians
I haven't
or uh, just things to break up the monotony of a day striking. Have you heard of that?
right. I've heard of it. I haven't seen
Oh,
it, but I've heard of it.
okay.
And then what's his name? Snoop Dogg. He postponed a concert in solidarity.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, that's something.
That is something.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I'm also not like a regular writer. You know, a lot of writers.
Why do you say you're
know,
not a
when-
regular writer?
Well, I've never worked in a writer's room, a normal writer's
With
room.
a complete staff.
Yes, because it's just me, Hugh, and Rachel. We write everything.
Right.
I guess we have different interests than the majority of the writers.
Okay.
Who they want mandatory minimum. You know, you have to hire 5 writer producers. You know, I think if your show gets picked up to 10 episodes, you know, and for me, that doesn't help me the way but I totally support. I understand where everyone's coming.
That's not the business model that you guys follow when you're hired for a show.
Right. Right. You're kind of getting a lean and mean.
I would think
team.
they love that.
I think so. I think it probably saves them some money. But you know, so maybe I'm not. That's why my feelings of the strike are probably different than most.
Okay.
You know, because I don't go from show to show. I'm not. You know, the shows that I write on are normally shows that I've created.
That is a little different.
That's it's different. It's different.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
What did I want to talk about?
Was there like, oh, I got a bone to pick.
I don't really have a bone to pick.
So Charlie is 13.
Charlie's 13.
And what's your other son's name?
Henry. He's 11.
Henry. Now, which one is the sort of class comedian?
Probably Henry. And Henry gets in trouble. Henry, he'll say "fuck you" a little bit in the schoolyard.
Really? To other students or to?
Just to whoever.
Well, what prompts him to say that? Is he aggravated, or he just randomly walks up to someone and says, "Pardon me"?
If he's aggravated, I think he's smarter. He's an 11-year-old who I think he realizes he's smarter than the other 11-year-olds.
Okay.
So it's like,
is he provoked to say that, or is he a provocateur?
He's a bit of a provocateur.
Okay. Does he get in any fights?
No. He doesn't get in any fights.
Just verbal jousts that include "fuck you."
Yeah.
Okay. And I imagine.
Class clown.
I would imagine you roll with it a little more than Sam in that department.
It's tricky because it's like a lot of times when he says it, I'll hear the story and it's like, yeah, they kind of deserve that. I see where you're coming from.
Oh,
so he's saying it all correctly, but he just can't. You can't say that when you're in 5th grade.
What do you mean when you say he's saying it correctly? It escalates at an appropriate level to where the next thing a person would say is
when he gets
"fuck you."
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's using it all appropriately. You just can't. You can't do that in 5th grade.
Can you recall any story? Like what is an 11-year-old getting into it with another 11-year-old about? That's okay if you can't remember. It's just.
Yeah. Can't remember.
Is he a bit of a performer?
Charlie's actually more of a performer. But Henry, how do you describe it?
You don't have to.
Excuse me, a little burpy. Um, yeah, he likes to push buttons, I
Okay.
guess, and he gets entertainment out of
Henry
that.
would.
Yeah.
So in the button pushing, because I can I've dabbled in that. You
Yeah.
might say "f you" a little prematurely, sort of like jumping the double dog dare you to a triple dog dare you type of thing,
Yeah.
just to get a reaction.
What you're saying when you're the person
If
doing
you're a
that?
provocateur like him, maybe he would, jump the shark a little early. Like,
Yeah.
whoa. You're saying F you already? All I did was say, "Excuse me, sir." And your response was straight to an 11.
Did you say, "Excuse me, sir"?
Yeah. "Excuse me, sir. Fuck you." I beg your pardon. That was unnecessary. It's like,
Well, he knew where it was going.
I guess I'm curious about, the progression of what a couple of 11-year-olds get into that climax in an FU. Has he been punished for it at home? And if so, what was the punishment?
Yes. The newest punishment, and this is a teacher at school suggested this, said if you're going to use poop language, you have to go clean up poop.
Oh.
We had to go around the neighborhood and clean up dog poop.
Interesting. How did he feel about that?
He didn't like it. Did not like it. Almost threw up.
Oh, well, that scared straight there.
Like
Scared straight.
Yeah, I don't know if it really worked. I think he was just grossed out.
He was grossed out, but not to the point that it triggered something in his mind to say, well, I'm not going to use that kind of language anymore.
Yeah, it stops for a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe we got to be more consistent.
Okay. That's hard. That's hard to do.
That's hard.
Do you think Charlie or Henry, which one of them would be most likely to be excited about maybe being a guest on this podcast? Or would they both say, no, thank you?
I bet they would both say no, thank you. No offense. No offense.
No, none taken. You can't get too offended.
And you'd have their interest for about 45 seconds.
Okay. Are they into any sports or anything besides YouTube and gaming?
They are. Henry's soccer and Charlie is basketball.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. Just like your old man, just real sporty.
Did you play any sports as a youth?
I played a little baseball when I was a kid, and I remember just being so terrified for every game. Like I remember my mom driving me to the game, and then I'd see the field, and I would just be terrified.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I hated it. I mean, that was probably Little League years.
So less than 10, 7 or 8, 11, 12?
Yeah. I'd say anywhere from 7 to 12.
How many years were you put through this?
Oh, I don't know. It felt like 80 years, but it was probably 2 years.
2 years of baseball, and you see that field and just the sweats and all that stuff.
Oh, hated it. Did
your parents sense that? I mean, somebody must have been looking at it. Go get him, Larry. I don't want to get out of the car. I mean, there had to be.
I don't think anyone cared in those days.
It
was just like,
it's good for you. Go out there, eat your vegetables.
Okay, who knows? Whatever.
Did your parents come?
I don't think I ever said. They would come to the games. Yeah, oh, you did great.
What position did you play?
Outfield.
Okay, I'm right there with you. Batting ninth, playing right field. That was me.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I was going to play football in high school.
Yes.
And join the football team.
You did?
Yep. And then third day of practice, blew my knee out running sprints. And that was the end of my football career.
Really?
Yeah. That was it.
I'm a little fascinated by this experience with Little League, though. How could nobody, when you first got signed up, one of your parents must have said, you want to sign up for Little League? Or you must have asked.
These are all great questions. I have no memory of.
Who initiated that?
I don't
Because your
remember.
parents are good folks.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Larry, you don't seem so excited. Come out of the dugout. I don't want to. Was it to that point? I remember going through a phase of being terrified of being hit by a pitch.
Oh, and anytime that ball, it just seems like it's going to hurt. Right? It's a hard ball.
That's why they call it hardball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I finally got to a point where I got a little bit angry, which should be of no surprise to anyone. And I dug in a little bit and I pretended to be a different baseball player. And then I started hitting the ball a little bit. But by that time, it was too late.
Interesting. So just if you did that a couple of years earlier, who knows?
Who knows?
Life.
Probably not much. I'm not a very intimidating, imposing figure physically.
Well,
I just love to know what was going on with you and why you didn't ever say, "Hey, Mom, can I talk to you for a second? I really don't want to play baseball."
Sam asked me about what happened when you were a kid. Why you don't remember anything? I don't remember.
You don't remember your childhood?
The little glimpses of it, but I don't. And nothing traumatic happened.
Yeah,
but I don't really.
It sounds like that was traumatic.
I guess.
And you have a memory of going to the park, seeing the field, and that was a trigger for you. Was it a trigger to put on your uniform?
Probably.
Okay.
See, that part I don't remember. I just remember pulling up to the field and that feeling.
Wow. But other than that, you really you don't have much of a memory of your childhood. And Sam has asked you about this.
Right. Because she's much more nostalgic. I have no nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. I think there's something going on with Larry blocking certain things out from his childhood. Maybe we need to get his wife Sam on the podcast and dig a little deeper. She might have some insight for us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've missed you. I hope you missed me. I have another summer episode to publish. Hopefully it will be this summer of 2023. Stay cool. Stay hydrated. For God's sake, please stay hydrated. And thank you for listening to The Modern Moral.
Are you giving your body the water it needs to keep you healthy? How do you know you're dehydrated? You're going to take your 2 fingers, pinch behind the back of the hand like this, and pull it up. Hold it there a few seconds. If it comes right down real quick, that means you're hydrated. If it comes down slowly, you're dehydrated. Drink your water so your body will love it.